Welcome to the Build with Boundaries podcast. My name is Manaz, and this podcast is for mums who want to carve out time so that you can work in ways that work for you, your life, your family, and of course, your business. Together, we will discover why you are not prioritizing your business and the actions that you can take so you can live an intentional, productive, and fulfilled life without mum guilt. So let's dive in to today's episode. Hey, episode 49. So this is work-life integration, embracing flexibility and adaptability. Now, flexibility and adaptability is so vital in everything we do, right? Everything we're doing, whether that's at home, as a mum, as a homeowner, nurturing your children, looking after your parents, all the duties that you might have, and also in business, because there are things that will always happen that throw you off guard, change things that you had set yourself up for. So you may have made plans and had to change them. And I think finding creative ways to integrate is something that I want to discuss in this episode, because we have this kind of idea of work-life balance, and I want to change it to work-life integration, because it's almost like, your business is a part of your life and it's a part of it. So it's how can we integrate it better? How can we create more harmony between everything? Because as you know, if you're a regular listener, I like to use harmony rather than balance, because balance is more like the weighing scales and, a seesaw effect, one thing going up and another coming down. Whereas harmony feels like it's not about giving more or less to one, because one thing can have more focus, but it's blending it and having more harmony between them. And when you have so many things that are calling out for your attention, I think it's important to recognize that it's important to us to really integrate this, and it's important to us to find our own way in what works for us and what is going to be most helpful. Because at the end of the day, we want to be maximizing the way that we use our time. We want to maximize the results we can get with the time and effort that we put in. And we're already restricted to some extent in terms of how many hours, what time of day, when we can work, where we actually have child-free time, for example, or, that is actually our dedicated, that's a boundary we've created where this is my working time. And therefore, it's important to stick with that, because in your life, you have lots of other aspects and sides that you want to be able to give time to. And quite rightly so. You cannot overwork and get the same results, because overworking does not equal productivity. And overworking can be being more busy with the things that take up your time, but not necessarily give you any progress. So there's a key difference here, and trying to work out what is progress and what kind of progress you're wanting. And having that idea in your mind that if you set up and create the way you work, or the time that you work, or any kind of daily routines and habits that you have, they don't have to be forever. And it's okay if they need to be tweaked or changed, because everything changes, everything around us changes. The seasons change, the time changes, the day changes, the year changes, everything around us, especially when we look at nature, we see change, and it's a positive thing. So it just means that what was working for us at one point needs some kind of tweaking. It doesn't mean it's completely gone and needs to be ripped up and start all over again, because the knowledge and the experience you have with what worked is going to help you to create the next level for you as well. Having a daily routine, having boundaries around how do you create your work time and your family time, and really working on your mindset around this, because until we give ourselves permission to do a lot of these things, we are not going to see that there are things that we can change. So next, let's talk about the flexible scheduling techniques, because this is really helpful when we have a lot of things going on. We don't often have to be everywhere at once at the same time as in live. There are tools and different strategies we can use, and we can schedule our time. We can almost bring more structure to our day. We can set times for doing different things, and we need to be very clear on our priorities, because what we can end up doing is, if we don't get our priorities clear enough, we can definitely be working away and scheduling and acting and doing the time blocking and actually working on the stuff in the best way. But what if we're not working on the right things? What if the next thing that your business needs is the thing that you have been avoiding, and perhaps even not recognizing that is actually the next thing for your business in order for anything you want to change? That is the thing that's the weakest link, if you like. It's important for us to schedule things, but it's also important for us to remember what it is that we're scheduling. So both sides of the coin, and keeping that in mind. And then we also want to be embracing adaptability, because things will happen, and often they will happen unexpectedly. And this is where we can kind of get thrown into this state of stress or overwhelm, because it's disrupted what we had planned. And I think having that flexible and structured, and having the right kind of harmony between them, because I think there's a space for having both, and giving yourself enough sort of pockets of time where you're able to catch up or do things that are not necessarily time critical. Because if anything needs to slide, it's quite easy to slide those things into the next week, for example. And that would be one way of creating a bit of space and a bit of time in that week, because something else takes over and is a priority. It could just be that you're unavailable to work an afternoon, or something happens that takes you away, or your child is sick, or you're not feeling well, anything like that. And I think it's important for us to remember that these things will happen, and these things can be built into our schedule, and these things we can absolutely work on, because the more we do that, we will realize how we work better and more effectively, and then what things we could tweak and change to help improve that even more. Nobody is like us. Nobody can give us a magic tool of how you can be more adaptable or flexible. So it's important to really apply that to yourself and see what feels like would be the next thing. And if you do feel stuck with this, I do have a Master Your Minutes course that is a guide for you on how you can create an aligned schedule, and allowing you to step by step walk you through what you can do. So it's not a magic pill. It's not telling you this is the magic formula to create it's very much working with you. So I'm acting as a guide and taking you through step by step process with a workbook, so that you can be guided in how you create that. And the best thing about it is that the process is repeatable. So, when you feel like there's something not quite working again, you can just go back and actually redo that. And it's almost like having that hand holding and having that support that guides you to find something that's better for you. What I've also done in the Master Your Minutes is there's amazing value in there, because I've even added a bonus masterclass where I share how I not only have created the plan that I want to work with, but then how do I make that happen? Because it's all very well, we write things down and we make a plan, we put it into our diary, and we say this is what we're doing. But, how can we make it easier for us to follow that and actually do the things at the times that we need to do them? So I share my strategies and tools in this so that you can work out what you need at that time when you're watching it. And as I say, you get lifetime access anyway, so you can repeat this at any point in time. So things like that can be really helpful. So that's full disclosure. There is absolutely no magic pill. If somebody says, well, this is the way to do it and this is what works, really, everybody is different and your energy levels are different. You'll find your energy levels are very different through the whole month as well. And that's something that you can work with as well. So there's so much to be said for finding how you work best and really getting to know yourself. And ultimately, that is what you're doing, learning about yourself so that you can get the most and the best use out of your time and out of your energy as well, because we simply don't want to be working 24/7, right? So there you go. That is your food for thought for this week in terms of what can you do to tweak things, to change things. Is there mega stuff going on that needs a complete revamp, or is it just small tweaks? And yeah, just give it a go and try it and see for yourself what things are working and what feels better for you, because always it comes down to how you're feeling. So I hope this episode's been helpful. Do check out the show notes and do check out the other episodes. Let me know your feedback. You can find the link in the description and the show notes. And you can send me a quick voice message. You can ask me a question or you can give me some feedback on how you're finding this podcast. So I would love that, really appreciate that. So take care and I'll speak to you next time.